My friend, don't scroll past this moment. You've been hurting quietly, fighting battles no one sees. And tonight, God is reaching for you. Listen, this is for you. There are seasons in life when the weight becomes too heavy to carry. You smile on the outside, but inside you're tired, weary, worn. People around you don't fully understand what you're going through. Even those who love you can't see the depth of your pain. But there is one who knows. One who sees every tear, hears every silent prayer, and understands every wound that lies beneath the surface. God has watched you struggle in the dark nights when no one else was there. He has seen you hold yourself together when your heart was breaking. And tonight, He whispers to your soul, I am healing you in ways no one else can understand. You see, human hands can comfort, but only God can restore. Human words can encourage, but only God can renew. Human medicine can treat the body, but only God can touch the depths of the spirit. The healing He is bringing is not just for your body, it is for your mind, your memories, your heart, your soul. Some of the pain you carry didn't come from this year, or even the last. It came from wounds you buried long ago, hoping time would fix them. But time doesn't heal. God heals, and He is doing a work in you that others may never see, never understand, and never fully grasp. But you will feel it. There are places inside you that have been broken for far too long. Places you stopped praying about because you thought they would never change. But God has stepped into those places. He is removing the bitterness, the fear, the heaviness, the anxiety. He is mending those inner fractures that no doctor could diagnose. Your healing may not look dramatic to others. It may not be announced, posted, or noticed. But it will be real, quiet, deep, transforming. The kind of healing that makes you wake up one morning with a peace you didn't have before, a strength you didn't feel before. A hope you thought you lost. God is rewriting your story, not with pain, but with purpose, not with sorrow, but with strength, not with fear, but with faith. The wounds that once defined you will become the testimony that lifts someone else. The same God who walked with you through the valley is now guiding you toward restoration. And hear me, your healing is already in motion. You may not see it yet, but it's happening. You may not feel it fully, but it's happening. You may not understand it, but He does. So lift your head, dry your tears, take a breath. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are being healed, deeply, completely, lovingly, by the one who knows you better than you know yourself. And when God heals, He heals completely. He heals perfectly. He heals in ways no one else can ever understand. Hold on, my friend. Your healing is here. God understands your pain in ways no one else can, and He sees the battles you're fighting silently. There are struggles inside you that no one around you truly knows. Moments when you felt overwhelmed. Moments when you wondered if anyone could ever understand what you're carrying. You've smiled through pain, laughed through heartbreak, and pushed forward even when your spirit felt weak. You've had days when you didn't know whether to cry, pray, or simply fall apart. Yet through every silent tear, through every night you lay awake trying to be strong. God was watching you with compassion deeper than anything this world could ever offer. People may notice your actions, but God sees your heart. He knows the thoughts you're afraid to say out loud. He knows the disappointment you keep buried. So others don't worry. He knows the questions you've whispered in the dark when nobody else was listening. He hears the unspoken cries, the ones behind your forced smiles, your polite answers, your I'm fine when you're anything but fine. And while others might misjudge your emotions or misunderstand your journey, God never misreads your soul. He understands every detail of your hurt, every layer of your fear, every reason behind your exhaustion. There are things you've been carrying for years, old wounds, deep memories, disappointments that shape the way you think and feel. People may see your strength, but God sees the pressure behind that strength. People may see your courage, but God sees the weight you're holding to keep that courage alive. People may see the surface, But God sees the depth and complexity of your pain, and He doesn't turn away from it. He moves closer to it. There are places inside you that have been wounded for so long that you stop believing anything could change them. These are the hidden rooms of the heart, the places you never talk about, the places you learn to ignore because the pain became too familiar. These wounds may not show on the outside, but they shape everything on the inside. They affect how you trust, how you love, how you hope, and how you see yourself. And while people around you only see your behavior, only God sees the history behind it. Only He understands the layers of hurt you've been carrying. And it is in those deep, silent, untouched places that God is doing His greatest work. There are memories you've never fully healed from, moments that still sting when you think about them, disappointments that settled into your heart like heavy stones. Sometimes you smile through life, but inside there is still a bruise that never quite faded. God knows about every one of those bruises. He knows how certain words hurt you years ago. He knows how certain losses left you feeling empty. He knows how certain betrayals made you build walls around your heart. And while you may not even understand why you feel the way you do sometimes, God understands perfectly. That is why His healing often begins in the places you forgot about or tried to bury. He reaches into the corners of your soul where the wounds are old, layered, and complicated. Places where you're not even sure what you feel anymore. Places you tried to push past because you didn't know how to deal with them. God isn't afraid of those places. He isn't intimidated by the depth of the pain or the age of the wound. He steps into those broken spaces with patience, love, and power. Healing in these hidden places is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it happens quietly. One moment of peace at a time, one release of fear at a time, one gentle shift inside your heart. You begin to notice that the memories don't sting as sharply. The anger doesn't rise as quickly. The sadness doesn't weigh as heavily. The fear doesn't grip as tightly. What once controlled you begins to lose its power, and you feel lighter without even knowing when the change happened. That's how God works. Deep, quiet, and thorough. He is healing the thoughts you don't talk about, the emotions you don't show, the wounds you don't express. He is healing the insecurity you hide behind confidence. He is healing the loneliness you disguise with busyness. He is healing the fear you cover with strength. He is healing the disappointment you hide behind a smile every day. Even while you go about your life, He is working beneath the surface, undoing years of hurt, lifting burdens you forgot you were carrying, and restoring pieces of you that were lost along the way. This kind of healing may confuse people around you because they cannot see what God is doing in your spirit. They don't understand why you suddenly feel more peaceful, why you no longer react the way you used to, why you're becoming braver, softer, clearer, stronger. But God understands, because He is the one doing the work. In those hidden, forgotten, deeply personal places, He is rebuilding you, renewing you, restoring you. And one day you will look back and realize that the places where you were once broken have become the places where God showed His greatest love. Your healing is already in motion, even if you can't see it yet. God is bringing peace, strength, and restoration to your life in ways that are unfolding quietly, gently, and perfectly timed. Sometimes healing doesn't begin with a dramatic moment or a sudden miracle. Sometimes it begins with a shift so small, you don't recognize it at first. A little more peace when you wake up, a little less heaviness in your chest, a little more hope in your spirit. You begin to notice that what once overwhelmed you doesn't feel as heavy. What once frightened you doesn't seem as powerful. And what once hurt you doesn't break you the way it used to. That's not coincidence. That's not luck. That is God moving in your life before your eyes can see it clearly. Healing often begins long before we feel the results. God works in the unseen. He works in the spiritual realm, arranging things, opening doors, closing harmful paths, protecting you from battles you don't even know are happening. While you are praying for change, He is already preparing it. While you are asking for healing, He is already sending it. While you are hoping for restoration, He is already building it piece by piece. Just because you can't see the progress yet, doesn't mean the process isn't happening. God does some of His greatest work behind the scenes. In the silence, in the spaces where your faith has to trust more than your eyes. Sometimes you look at your situation and think, nothing is improving. You may feel stuck, delayed, or forgotten. But delays are not denials, and silence is not absence. God often works in hidden seasons so that when the breakthrough finally comes, the change is permanent, complete, and stronger than anything you expected. He is healing you deeply, not just temporarily. He is healing the things that once controlled you, so that your future will not look like your past. Healing is also a process because God wants your heart to be ready for what He is bringing. He strengthens you while He heals you, teaching you patience, building your resilience, deepening your faith, and increasing your wisdom. Every day that you keep going, even when it's hard, is a day of healing. Every tear you shed in prayer is part of your healing. Every moment you refuse to give up is part of your healing. Even your struggles are part of your healing, because they are shaping you into someone stronger than the person who was hurt. One day you will look back and realize that God was healing you all along. You'll see how He removed people who drained you, how He closed doors that would have harmed you, how He opened new paths that brought blessings, how He strengthened you in ways you didn't appreciate at the time. You'll see that the pain had purpose, the waiting had value, and the healing had been happening quietly within you from the very moment you cried out to God. The peace that is coming will replace the anxiety you battled. The joy that is coming will wash over the sorrow you carried. The clarity that is coming will push away the confusion that clouded your mind. The restoration that is coming will give back what life tried to take from you. God is not just healing you, He is preparing you for a future brighter, stronger, and more beautiful than anything you imagine. And even now, before you feel it fully, His healing hands are already at work in your life.